He's found 4 coyotes out here. No wonder why the deer are on edge, but we've also come up with a doe muley off here, not that far from us in a coulee, and then another deer. We're hopeful we're gonna get into a bachelor group of bucks here in the next 15-20 minutes when they're on their feet feeding. Wind's coming from the right direction. You can kind of see the breaks behind us, and kind of a cool rainbow off to our west. And it took us probably 15-20 minutes, and Kurt is just all over these coyotes. He's found 4 coyotes out here. No wonder why the deer are on edge, but we've also come up with a doe muley off here, not that far from us in a coulee, and then another deer. So there's 3 different, what we'll call groups of deer. They're single deer, but there's probably more deer that we just can't see that's within each one. So got one here at about 200 yards, one at 400 yards, one at 600 yards, if you will. So that's cool. We're seeing deer now. We're gonna look for some horns and see if we can put a sneaky sneak. The wind's up to about 10 miles an hour in the open, and that's, I hate to use the word perfect, but you don't want it deathly quiet, calm, because then you're making noise as you're walking and they get you. But 10 miles an hour is not a bad wind for out here in South Dakota in the prairie. Here's a pro tip. I took my SIG rangefinder from up where we were and shot it, and it was 250 yards. So now I can go back and range find where we came from and know that we're 150 yards from that point. So now we're basically 100 yards from where we saw that deer. So that lets you know, especially when we're with archery gear, that keeping in mind of where the animals are and how much range, how much distance you got to make up to get close.
There's 2 of them. You see the right below it. Yeah.
Both bald-headed.
Yeah. I just saw the other one's ears.
That's what we're after. We just want them to have some hornage. We want them to identify as bucks. Get over here and see if we can do something. They may have walked out of range, but that'll put us closer to the move anyway. One's looking right at me. I'm gonna wait. I hear a dance in the dark. Yep. Can I tickle you? We're gonna slide up, try to get a little bit of elevation and catch them, maybe still feeding and going away in a coulee to where we can make maybe a final stalk, or at least see what they're doing to maybe make a move on them. There's like a fork and horn or a small 3-point, and then this one is definitely a year older, and he's not quite at his ears, but he's framed up nice. Oh, we've had a pretty successful stalk to where we've came up into their coulee that they fed across and dropped down into. Came 4 does, 3 bucks. And they went over into the next coulee. Now we're going to try to maneuver and get ahead of them so they'll walk right past us within bow range. It's going to be tough, but we'll see. We haven't blown them out by any chance. A coyote walked right through the draw, right through the middle of them. One of them's head right there. So they went in that little cut right there, that dark cut. Last time we seen the 2 bucks, this lower little bald knob, their racks just skylined above it and then went to the right. So I don't know if they're back in that little coulee there or what's on the other side of that. There's still some does behind. That's why we haven't moved through here. So, but they were just like right there at 120 yards. But I don't know. Like I said, I just seen their heads and then gone again, so I don't know if they're going to pop out over here or if they're going back into that country where we came from this morning. We had some great stalks this morning. I mean, this was our first morning out, and we got on to, basically we had two stalks. The first stalk put us right up on some does, a doe and a fawn, and we didn't blow them out. If they would have been in bow range and we were looking for an antlerless deer, I think, what were they, 69 yards? I think they were. Come out and went broadside, and that was cool. So this was kind of like our warm-up. The bucks that we got onto this morning weren't quite the age class we were looking for. They were probably 2.5 once it all boiled down. Yeah. So we got on them like 3 times, and it was a lot of fun, and got within that 100-yard sweet spot, but did not close the gap for an archery shot. But again, if they'd have been 2 years older than they were, I'd have had a belly ache. But I know we can get on bigger deer than that. We'll kill him. So 30 yards then. 30 yards. 28 to the one that's exposed.